Breaking news, India's moonlander has detected movement on the moon. In other words, if you keep reading down this new article, they're saying it was a moonquake. But if you're one of these people that believe that the Nazis actually got to the moon way before America did, using UFOs that was given to them or helped with by an alien race, possibly the Aryans, as some people say, they got to the moon and were mining on the moon. Obviously, this isn't this is just an image from the Telegraph, but it shows that people out there do believe this story. And they got there and they started mining for various elements, including helium-3, and bringing it back to Earth. Now, there's also other alien species already been on the moon mining, which makes it hollow. So when India's feeling a bit of a vibration underneath, could it actually be that they're not aware of the aliens and it's really these guys and aliens? Breaking news, archaeologists have found a body inside a pyramid. But if you know anything about pyramids, you know that they are not tombs. So have a look at that, completely sparse. Now look at a proper tomb. You've got hieroglyphs and you've got all sorts of other things, including the magic pillars that help ward off bad spirits and so on and so on. So there's pyramids was never built as a tomb. So let's go back to this then, because you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, if this has got a body in it, therefore it must be a tomb. Well, if you actually just read down a little bit, basically they found a body sunken into the very top of the pyramid. In other words, someone's dumped someone in there way back when. And even then, there's the body there. But even then, if you read this bit, basically the people that would have been around at the time were known for remodeling existing pyramids. In other words, the pyramid still wasn't a tomb. I rest my case. Oh, you have to listen to this. This person's a great numpty. So, this person posted on one of my videos, prove it. In other words, prove that the Anunnaki were gods. So I point him to the video, you know, the video that's got tens of thousands of views, hours long, and has evidence, because no one's debunked it and can't debunk it because it's got evidence. Anyway, so I point him to that because he said prove it, and then he wrote, I don't need to, mate. I've watched most of Ancient Aliens where theorists have pointed out similar or the same beliefs as yours. So in other words, he asked me to prove it. I give him where the evidence is, and unlike Ancient Aliens, which don't have the same evidence as me because they're not me, and he now doesn't want to watch mine because he's frightened that my evidence is correct. And that is why the tens of thousands of people that have watched that video haven't ever said anything bad, because they can't, because it's real. Another religious person who asked for proof, I gave them the proof, and they just replied back saying, you've made your mind up. So they didn't even watch the evidence. But this same person said that only one or two people have translated the cuneiform tablets. So I thought I'd make them look silly, because these are religious people that really don't want to know. So anyway, let's prove that there's more than one or two. So here is cuneiform parallels to the Old Testament. You do not want to read this if you are religious, because it shows what I'm talking about. Robert William Rogers back in 1912 actually done this. Ivan Finkel, head curator of the British Museum, translates tablets. Zacharias Sitchin, who's now passed, translates tablets. The Atrahasis was translated by Stephanie M. Daly. And then you go to the Oxford University website, where you can read many, many translations. And down here you'll see different names of translators. The Mexican Alien. I have now finished doing my documentary. It's in 2 parts. It's about 35 minutes long in total. This is part 2 here, and there's part 1. It's on my Patreon page if anyone's interested. Now, you know I've done loads of videos, and I'm the one that sort of debunked other people, and so I'm pretty good at what I do. So this second part's really interested in this Mexican alien theory, and that's because I go into who debunks it. Not just who debunks it, but why they debunk it. And it goes down a rabbit hole, which is why it took a lot longer than I thought to make this documentary. And once you watch the video and realise you'll never look at anything whatsoever to do with mainstream ever again, you will just say, I'd rather watch Our True History, which I am on Patreon. So if you're interested, patreon.com/Our True History, and get the actual information from me. Thanks. Sorry, another post from the religious person before that said there was only 2 Sumerian translators. Of course, I did a video proving him wrong. You know, fair dues, he admitted that he was a numpty, but he's so conditioned that he's now even saying that the Sumerian tablets were only discovered in the past 200 years. Let me explain something to you. The Sumerian tablets are pretty much mostly in Iraq. Now, over 200, let's say 300 years ago, you find these tablets. What are you going to do? Give them to the museum. Museum in Iraq only came around 1923. You're going to tell your friends on the internet. No internet. 300 years ago, what do you do with these tablets? Other than, because you can't read them, other than keep them and then maybe give them to a museum when they open. That's about it. So when you say they're discovered 200 years ago, no, people discovered them before that, had no idea what to do with them. Same as dinosaur bones. The video you've all been waiting for. So many people have asked me about this Mexican Congress alien that they've shown, and people's asked me what's my thoughts on it, because I have done a lot of research. So just to show you that some people back in the day kind of knew about the elongated skull there, etc., etc. I'll do a long video for everyone because it covers quite a lot. It also covers the stones that the Mexican people have been finding with such heads that almost resemble the same ones here. So I'll do an explanational video for that. Again, another carving here from Mexico that shows the same elongated with the neck that's in the middle. But also I'll be showing you that we knew about this particular type here in the Psalm 101. You can go read it yourself if you can find it, because there are 2 types of ebons. So keep